quick warning for this story, it is a lot longer than the other ones I've read, so, I might split it into 2 parts, and it would take up, like, say, it was like, Halloween Fest number 9 was the first part, Halloween Fest number 10 would be the second part, so it'd take up 2 parts, 2 days, basically. Okay. Just letting you guys know, it is kind of long, but I really like this one. It's a ritual. Ow. Hope you enjoy. Do you have something that you truly, relentlessly desire? Despite your state of life, is there something else that you would go completely to the end of the world to get? Well, lucky for you, there's a way to achieve what you're looking for. And you won't have to go to the end of the world to get it. But you will need to go somewhere. And the place may be too far out of reach for some. It's not far away, closer than one may believe, and there are requirements that some individuals may not seek. First, whatever it is that you seek, know that you must seriously desire what you want. In your eyes, it should be something that you need. If you begin the journey without the correct state of mind, you will surely fail, as it will be near impossible to turn back once the journey starts. The second requirement is that you need a vehicle of sorts. Don't use a car, as it's the most comfortable choice. There happen a select few who have used a small motorized vehicle, such as an ATV or motorcycle. This has proven to be quite difficult, as the conditions of the journey can prove to be too bothersome. Do not use a vehicle too large or noticeable, as you will need some of the cover of night to be most safe. Also, while any sort of car will do, you may not want to choose the most expensive or cherished vehicle. You can take your slick new black Mercedes for the drive if you'd like, but don't expect it to come out in a pristine state. Make sure your vehicle is completely fueled before beginning the drive. The first task to accomplish is to locate the road. It doesn't have a name, and it's not on a map, and technically it doesn't even exist. It will only show up if you're looking for it at the right time, and if you spot it, if you know what you're looking for. Finally, you must be alone during the journey. You didn't think you'd be able to go in a group, did you? It must be night when you begin. Choose a time of night where you believe the roads are least populated. Drive to any area that is just a stretch of road surrounded by woods. Here is where you want to start paying attention. If you're looking for a road, it will turn up eventually, but you will need to search for the road's hints in order to pull down the right one. Once you're close, you will feel free at signs, but what the signs will depend on what you desire. For example, if you're in search of wealth, you may spot shimmers on the empty branches of trees, as if they resemble the shine of gold or diamonds. If it's love you seek, you may begin to see rose petals slowly dance in the light breeze, blowing in the road's direction. If you seek revenge, you might sense an ever-growing feeling of heat or anger in your body as you approach. Just know what it is you really want. You will have no problem finding the turn. Once you're sure you found the revealed road, take a deep breath and turn down onto it. At this point, you have officially started down the nameless road which brings you through 11 miles, leading to whatever it is you seek. Each mile will test your desire, and will expose if you really do want what you're searching for. Before you go any further, stop the car and be aware of a few advisements. Don't turn on the radio during the drive. Don't use a phone during the drive. Reception would be cut off anyway. Don't open windows during the drive. Make sure you're closed before you continue. If you're riding a vehicle without windows or top, then prepare for the worst, as odds are heavily against you. Do not attempt to leave your vehicle at any time. You will never want to exceed 30 miles per hour unless you're desperate to make it through a section of the road. And most importantly, as with any drive, buckle up. Feel free to prepare and make sure you're ready. Once the road has been entered, time has stopped, and you don't need to worry about losing the night. Though you may not notice that you're actually not in your own world anymore. Take one last moment to realize that your first mile is over and there is no turning back. If you ponder turning back at all, know that you shouldn't even be on this journey in the first place. Once all is done, continue on the road. On the first mile, you won't see much change. The road passes through mostly woods, with a few miles being an exception. You will turn a bit colder, in which you should turn on your heating system if the vehicle has one. You won't want to take your eyes off the road later. Take some time to calm any uneasiness by admiring the night sky. You'll see it completely lined with stars, more than what you would ever believe possible. If the weather was cloudy beforehand, you'll also notice that the sky is now clear. On the second mile, the air will become even colder. This is primarily the reason why traveling in an open vehicle is very difficult. With each mile, the air will drop in temperature as if the season should turn warm. If the air is too cold to bear, even with the heat on, your only option is to speed up. With each mile, the road also becomes more complex, taking more turns and showing an increasing amount of road hazards. Be sure to always keep focus on the road in front of you in order to avoid as many bumps or obstacles as possible. Hitting a few rocks and potholes won't hamper your progress too much, but you'll want to keep in the best condition for as long as possible. If your vehicle is forced to stop because of damage, then there's nothing you can do but eventually freeze to death. On the third mile, you may begin to spot silhouettes of human figures in the lining of the trees. Pay no attention to them, even if they seem to get closer. It will be hard to resist peeking at their unnerving, distant appearances, but know that they will reveal themselves later. At this mile, the road will become dirt, and if you weren't driving on it in the beginning, keep to the center of the path as well as become more narrow and ride at random intervals. On a quick side note, should you ever attempt to turn around, despite the previous warnings, you'll be left on a path which never ends. You will simply run out of fuel eventually and be left to freeze in the cold conditions. On the fourth mile, you will not only see more of the figures, but you begin to hear them. In the back of your mind, a very faint, unintelligible whisper will echo. These will come and go, but you can't stop them. If they become bothersome or distracting, try and tune them out by thinking of what you desire. Attempting to listen and determine what the voices are saying will only attract them to you. You want to be as far as you can away from them. They'll be closer later, so there's no use bringing them near you this early. On the fifth mile, you will come to clearing. Knowing the trees to your left will disappear and reveal a lake with no end, with a beaming great moon over the water. The illumination from the moon will be so spectacular that the vehicle's headlights will no longer be required. Restrain yourself from gazing at it. If you look outside for even more than a few seconds, the road in front of you will end, throwing your vehicle into the water, in which you will freeze in mere minutes. The voice will be gone for this mile, but don't rejoice yet. They'll be back. On the sixth mile, take into account that you are more than halfway done. Despite your progress, you may lose hope here. The stars will have disappeared at this point, leaving you an empty, black abyss. The clearing will have ended, leading you back into the woods. The only lights you will have are provided by your vehicle's headlights, but they will flicker from time to time, even if you're sure they were in perfect working order. If you have a radio in your vehicle, it will turn on here automatically. If you don't turn it off beforehand, it will produce an overwhelming screech that will send you off your path. A calm voice will begin to speak about your greatest fears. What is it you're horrified of in your life? It will speak in a way that will cause you to visualize the words with your mind. So don't listen to it. When you begin to comprehend what it's saying, the horrors will prove too much for you to stay on the road safely. An interrupted radio will prove no use. Speed up if you need to. Just keep your mind off the voice as much as you can. As you approach the end of the mile, the voice will fade out of the speakers, leaving your ears at peace. For now. On the seventh mile, the voices from the figures will return. It won't sound like a whisper this time, more like distant screams growing closer each second. At some point in your mile, you'll hear one of them in your ear, as if one of them is right behind you. This is because one of the figures have found the way into your vehicle. Do not turn around. Their faces will shock you into paralysis, leading you off the road. If you don't draw attention to it, it will become uninterested, and hopefully leave. These beings are said to be ones who traveled down this road, but they were not successful. They lived the remainder of their existence suffering in the darkness, and their only goal being to bring their travelers down with them. It has been said from experience that these beings can't physically harm you, so as long as they don't cause you to wreck, you'll be fine. On the 8th mile, slow down if you're going too fast. The road here takes very sharp turns, which if overshot will throw your vehicle into a pit in the trees. The cold is near fatal here. If you were having a glass bottle or liquid in your vehicle, it would be solid in seconds. The heating system will have become completely obsolete. Your headlights will flicker more, sometimes shutting off for a few seconds. You should brake if this happens. Do not completely stop. The figures will be following you at this point. And should you stop for too long, they will surround and trap your vehicle. More of their screams can be heard from outside your doors, sometimes even sounding of maniacal laughter. Their hands will claw at your windows, desperately to reach in and feel something living. Do not look at them. They won't block your windshield, and the last thing you want to happen is to crash and be trapped with them. If you don't make it from here, pray that it's the freezing that ends you. On the 9th mile, your vehicle will stall. The headlights will shut off as your other systems inside. There's nothing you can do to prevent this. What you will need is to close your eyes and immediately attempt to restart your vehicle. Keep your eyes closed, as the figures would have surely surrounded you at this point. The starting of your vehicle will frighten them, and they will back away temporarily. This will give you a chance to start moving forward again. As you begin to hear the windows crack from their struggle, don't lose focus. The beings can alter the vehicle, but remember, they still do not have the strength to physically affect you. You will hear nothing but their voices rampage in your mind, as there could be anywhere between a dozen or 100 after you now. Once you start the vehicle, floor it. Floor it so long as you can stay on the path. When the mile's done, the beings will retreat. On the 10th mile, the voices of the beings will stop. If you look in your rearview mirror, do not actually do this, you will see them following you, but as if they were chasing. They're watching you, as if they were seeing you off as you go down the 10th mile. The road will become smoother, as if you were back on the 1st mile. The figures will be lying the sides of the path ahead of you. They won't be after you, but they will watch you as you pass. Some have theorized that the beings are impressed here, that you have come a long way on the journey to what you desire. This is false. They are not impressed, but they are happy. They are happy that you are about to approach the next mile. They are happy because you most likely going to your death. On the 11th and final mile, anything in your vehicle will lose power, as it did in the 9th mile. The vehicle would normally be immobile, but you will still be moving. An unknown force will be pulling you forward. In the darkness you will see a red glowing light up ahead. As if it were the light at the end of the tunnel, you close your eyes and cover them. Do whatever it takes to make sure you do not see what you are about to go through. Covering your ears would also be helpful. But keeping your eyes covered should be a higher priority. The red light is another clearing, but there is no moon or lake this time. Once it's entered, unrelenting the incontinent noises will sound from all directions. No amount of bravery and conditioning will spare you from these sounds. The cold will turn to merciless heat, burning all parts of the vehicle. You will feel the illumination of flesh being burned off your bones, and every part of you being destroyed as you travel through screams and unbearable suffering. As long as you keep your eyes closed and resist the urge to see where you are, you will survive through the suffering. This will last a total of 31 seconds, but may fail to keep their vision closed during the time, and you will feel the worst fate of the road. Where is this mile located? Those who have survived do not know. Some have named it the transmission from hell, but whether this part of hell is debatable. After the mile power returns, stop the vehicle, take the amount of possibility to regain your sanity. Let the screaming in your ears begin to fade, and you know you've nearly completed your journey with the hardest task overcome. Breathe and begin to drive forward once again. After only a kilometer, your vehicle will arrive at a dead end. Stop here and do not attempt to move again. Nothing will happen right this second, but do not be disappointed. Relax and close your eyes. Imagine your mind on what you've desired the entire time. It will most likely be the same as when you entered, but with some, this desire may actually change through making this journey. Think about what it was that you went through such terrifying and difficult means to acquire, and imagine possessing it in your hand.